Engines, go.
All good?
I am live.
Yep.
Yay! Hello, everyone. Welcome to this 19th session of In the Demon's Grasp, where today we are missing Althemia again. She's not feeling the best, but we do have Neon, Meteor, Banana, and Fire Red Lily. If you
Yes.
ever hear me say anything to Fire, that would be who I'm speaking to. I don't often
Mm-hmm.
speak in third person, but sometimes he does.
Yes,
Anyways,
we are both fire.
And guest star Tig.
oh
Yes.
yeah, and guest star Meteor's fresh little one.
Yes.
So when last we left off, our group had just returned pretty much a Feywild forest back to the Feywild, it seems. And the bright light that came before filled the sky and their vision, and suddenly they find themselves in a rather plain looking forest. It's quite quiet, as most anything would when a forest is suddenly disturbed by people appearing, and who knows whether a light was seen. As your all's eyes adjust, you do look around and you notice it appears to be a rather normal forest. You don't notice any outrageously blue flowers or glowing eyes on bunnies. You don't hear any sounds untowards as the chirps of forest insects and everything kind of start to pick back up.
No birds
Uh,
insulting us.
yep, there are no crows flying overhead calling you idiots. It is very dark. Again, before it was getting nighttime, and you all pushed through that. So
We pushed
uh,
through because the satyrs seemed really upset about the prospect of waiting even longer to go home.
I think the druids were too.
Yeah, we felt
Or
guilty.
dryads, not druids.
The
Dryads.
yeah.
so it's cool but not freezing. In the sky, you can see what appears to be a full moon, or slightly before and after. From where you're looking, it appears to be a full moon rising. And as the sounds of the forest start to surround you as a nighttime forest would, the next thing you notice that kind of shatters this somewhat peaceful silence is a crack sound is heard from a bag on Naya's person.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh
Uh,
no. That's
I'm
no.
digging for the vials.
Okay, you dig through looking for the vials. Both vials have rather large, a singular blue hued crystal growing in them. One of the sets of two vials has cracked on the end where the point of one of these crystals had pushed up against it. It seems to still be sealed as far as you can tell physically, but you do know that the crack definitely goes through the entirety of the glass to the outside.
Is there a way we can destroy those somehow?
I'm more alarmed by the fact that they seem fully grown at this point because they were dust when we left.
Yeah, that's instant growth. Hence why I'm
there's
asking, is there a way that we can get rid of those?
I mean, we did
Please.
just activate a lot of magic around them.
That was very
Very
quick.
that was a lot of magic though.
Um, yeah, I think we should probably put them back at some point, but I don't want to go back to put them back down. Um, it seemed unsafe to just drop them at the Fey Forest, so I'm glad we didn't.
Oh, we could have just left them in the temple and just let it be someone else's problem.
but then we wouldn't be
That
any
would have been the
closer to
thing we could have left behind.
knowing how these react, though. What if they're important later?
Oh.
What if this is a clue as to why we woke up the way we did?
Well,
We need to find a way to put it in some sort of a stasis where there's no magic then.
Yeah, we need some kind of anti-magic device or container or something.
We need a messenger bird to carry it back to Kashi.
Huh?
If we had a messenger bird, I would be looking for Grandma first.
How are we gonna?
Naya just
How,
Naya stares at Princess for a moment, wondering if that's a volunteering.
how are we gonna put it in the bird? Is that how that works?
I don't think putting it in the bird is a good idea.
poor bird.
Okay.
That would be one exploding birdie.
Midnight would not feel comfortable with me leaving for that long.
In the distance, you hear the howl of wolves. They sound like normal wolves as far as you can tell.
Did we want to try to find somewhere safe to make camp?
Some owls hooting.
Probably smart.
Ah, owls.
Who?
Probably smart because we're gonna be exhausted in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
Well,
tea
we
kind
can
of
still
gave
go
us
to
a
sleep. It's not.
yeah, it gave us a second wind, but we're definitely still going to be worn out if we don't rest. We should rest.
We should rest.
So
I'm going to look around to see if there's a safe looking space to bed down for the night.
looking around where you are, you don't really notice anything open. You know, again, y'all are standing in what used to be a clearing, but now is very densest forest. You do know, however, that this forest has been traveled and there was a path within it, but the path leading to where you are now seems to have been removed or restored, maybe depending on how you think of it.
Okay, can I look for anything that looks like it would be kind of obscured?
Okay, give me a perception check.
Okay, just standard rolls. So let me make sure that's set to normal. Yes. 19, starting off well here.
Okay. With your perception, looking around in the forest, your eyes adjusting to the dim light and everything else, and trying to find an open space, you don't really notice any nice places like that you could put down. The trees are pretty densely packed, but you know you can still travel through them. However, in the distance, towards where y'all would have come from on the path that used to be there, you do see a glow of light. The glow of light is at the bottom, and then it appears to be another little bitty glow that's a little bit higher up, not quite as bright, but it seems to be kind of coming from the same location.
No smoke or anything?
There is no smoke that you can
Is
see.
there any particular color to the glow?
It's kind of the orange yellow hue of like a fire or a
Okay.
lantern or
So
something like
firelight
that.
or lantern light, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll mention that to the group and be like, do we want to investigate and see if maybe that's safe to go
Well,
rest there?
how far away does that appear to be?
It's within walking distance, maybe 10 minutes at the most.
Then yeah.
I
Use
would
what
say
time of night?
quietly investigate.
It's starting
It's
to get
dark.
dark.
Okay. Yeah. If it's just starting to get dark, then for sure.
Yeah, I mean the moon. It is dark now. The moon is rising.
Okay.
The full moon's rising.
Yeah, I will cautiously head towards the light after making sure everybody is aware of what's going on.
I'm going to cast Pass Without a Trace so we can be quiet.
Nice.
Okay.
Good plan.
So you all go towards the light.
Don't make it
Making it
sound.
through the
Don't make it sound like we're dying.
making it through the forest back now that the path that you originally came through seems to be non-existent is quite a bit tougher, but it's nothing you can't handle. You know, there's more roots from trees and everything. You do notice that there are no humongous trees like there were in the Fey Forest before. As you get closer, the forest kind of opens up a little bit, and you see a rather weird looking tall tower uh, that has a what's the word? Trying to think of the word here.
I need some context to help me find a word. Not in your
Flagstone
brain.
path leading up to it.
Okay.
Next to the tower is a rather open area that appears to have a fire pit, uh, like within the center of it, and nothing else seems to be there outside of that.
Is the fire pit lit?
That fire pit is not. As y'all got closer, you saw that the glow that you uh, believe you saw seems to be the lanterns and the light coming from the windows of this tower structure. Beside the tower, you see an old hanging sign that doesn't really have anything on it. It appears to have been worn away at this point. So there's a picture that is on the scene if you want to take a look.
Okay.
Looks a little eerie.
Let's go here. There. So that's what y'all see. And over to the left of it, where you see the few extra lanterns, there is this open spot with the fire pit.
Hmm. Can we get close enough to look into one of the windows?
You certainly can.
Do
They
we
have a
need to
couple
roll
that are ground
stealth
level.
first, though?
Say that again.
Do we need to roll stealth first?
That's up
Or
to you.
stealth
If y'all are trying to be sneaky, then you definitely need to roll stealth.
I would like to try to be sneaky if we're looking in a window, yes.
Okay. Go
Okay.
ahead. Give me your stealth check.
I would probably suggest that like Midnight or Princess do the scouting in the window rather than
Rather than you with your armor, even though your boots negate it.
they negate it, but I'm still not very stealthy.
I only have a 1 in stealth. I'm not stealthy bunny.
Yeah, we're okay at stealth, so yeah, we can do that. Princess can fly.
I mostly figured Princess, even if they get spotted, will look less
Um,
out of place looking in a window because it's a bird.
Yeah, but Princess
will
screaming
turn
is not
invisible
very
with
stealth.
advantage on stealth.
So Princess is going to turn invisible.
Yeah.
And Kalina, are you going to move up with everybody so your pass without a trace sticks with everyone?
Yeah, let me roll. Give me a second.
Okay.
I'll be keeping an eye on the door while they're doing that.
Okay.
12 plus 10. So
22.
22.
31
Okay.
for Princess.
As you get
20.
closer to it, you hear a click at the door. Uh, this is about maybe 10 feet away from it, heading towards the window on the right or the left. Which window do you want to look through?
Princess is gonna look through the top window.
The one
So,
over
like
the door?
this one.
The tower.
The one way up there. Okay, Princess looks through that window and sees what appears to be a library of some sort. Several books and things are laid out on a large desk, and the walls are lined with old books. Some of them have tatters, some of them look newer, some of them look old enough that if you breathe on them, they might crumble.
Okay, and then this one next.
Okay, looking through there actually shows into a rather large, weirdly shapen main room of sorts. From the ceiling hang several, I guess you could say, implements and things, weirdly shaped tools. Some things that look like wands or dang, I can't think of the word. Wands or twigs. You see various bottles lining shelves, and down from that window from above, you can see the bald head of a rather uh, bulky dwarf who seems to be looking down and tinkering at something in front of him. He has a large white beard that goes down to brown. His clothing seems to be made of a tanned and colored leather.
Is there any signage around here?
There's only the sign that's out front, but it seems to have been worn away.
It's very faded.
Yes.
Okay. Princess will go back and convey this to everyone.
And the clicking sound from the door, was there any indication as to what that was?
Nope, it was just a singular click. If you had to guess, it sounded like a lock either being locked or unlocked.
Mm-hmm.
It was an audible click, but definitely not anything like the tower had made before. It was more of like a heavy, kerthunk click.
I'd say it's more likely they were locking than unlocking the door if they haven't opened the door yet. But yeah, Naya's basically keeping an eye on the door itself to see if there's any movement at the door while they're looking in the window so that nobody's caught off guard.
There doesn't seem to be. And as Princess flies back away from the tower, that same sound happens again from the door.
So it's proximity.
It is proximity, yeah.
Interesting.
So Naya's gonna look through the inventory really quick.
Okay.
Um,
Woo. Wolves howl in the distance.
Do
You hear a
trees
few
shake?
yapping and barking. Occasionally, you hear the sound of a bat finding its way through the skies.
Do I notice any bats?
You can see a few of them that happen to fly overhead rather quickly, so yes.
Midnight, with a wry smile on her face, pulls out a Granado.
Pulls out a what?
Granado?
Oh, okay, a Granado.
Any other animals
Darn,
I'm
that's
seeing?
something I didn't make. Dang it. You hear an owl every so often looking around. You can try and spot one if you want to give me a perception check.
Trying to get my animal decks up.
I had to look up what a Granado was again because I don't remember. I never remember.
It's a time grenade. It's a new item that's in. I just forgot to make the item for it. Remind me to do that later, please, Meteor. So we can actually add them. Looking around, you do happen to see a few bats that seem to be flying this way and then into the distance. You do happen to catch the glint of an owl's eye at some point as it's turning its head looking for food. You see a few rats scurrying across the ground, and that seems to be what the owl's eyes were following. Watching around, you see one of the rats get caught by said owl before it decides to fly off for its feast, for its dinner. You don't notice anything out of the ordinary. You see a few bugs here and there.
I assume
Cicada.
someone tells Midnight to put the grenade away.
Yeah. Naya would if she can get close enough to be heard.
You can tell she wasn't being serious, but just
Yeah.
You don't see any wolves at the moment, but you definitely heard them.
If we keep hearing the wolves, Naya is going to just approach the door, not necessarily being stealthy.
Can Princess spot any wolves? Because he has 120 feet of dark vision.
Give me a perception.
I have 60 feet of dark vision. But
Perception is wisdom.
I'm just trying to get my animal decks up.
11.
Princess does not see any wolves.
Darn.
So is Naya approaching the door?
yep,
Okay,
Naya's gonna go for the door.
you're
Nobody's
pro-
reported back to me with what they found from the windows as being anything worrying, so
So you approach the door about 10 feet from it or so, walking along this flagstone path. You hear a kerthunk click from the door.
Naya will walk within reach of the door and she will knock.
You knock
I
on the
would stand
door.
off to the side when you knock.
Yep.
You hear some shuffling within. You hear a clatter and a clang, as that sounds like someone dropped a thing of utensils. You hear a rather gruff voice yell out, "1 moment, 1 moment, I'll be there in a moment."
Not Princess. Midnight is and Princess, I guess, are gonna kind of hide behind a tree and just like have an Eldritch Blast ready.
Yep. Naya can face step if she needs to. It's okay.
I'm still trying to stealthy bun. I'm not trying to be seen yet.
You
Yeah,
hear
Naya is fine with being seen at this moment.
Colfax
hear-
is just gonna sniff the air.
a clang and then a clatter as if bottles are being tapped together and shuffled around and everything else. And then on the left side of the door, a small opening at the top you see slide across above the
Peephole.
above the knob, and you see two rather weirdly, I suppose, glowing orangish eyes looking out, and a rather furrowed brow that that seems to be looking outward intently at you. And they look around. There's no word said. Then they close, and then you hear kerthunk from the door again, and then the voice calls it, "Come in, come in. Welcome, welcome."
Naya's a little confused by that.
Yeah. Then you
Midnight
hear the
steps
clattering
out.
again, and you hear rather heavy footsteps leading away from the door.
Midnight will follow.
I'm gonna sneakily follow in as well.
Yeah, Colfax is just gonna kind of like
So you want to
quietly
open the door?
follow.
Naya's very cautiously poking the door open with a finger.
It seems as if it opens outward instead of inward.
Okay, so she's gonna pull the door open gently then,
Okay, you pull the door open.
and is kind of peering at the threshold as it's revealed, making sure there's nothing weird like above our heads or anything.
Give me a perception check or an
Okay.
investigation if you actually want to get up close and personal and do the rubby before you open the door.
I was hoping I could use my passive perception, but this is an active thing, so understandable that I can't.
Yeah, you are actively looking
27.
around.
You crit. You are really, really, really
Yeah.
looking.
Looking around, now that you're getting a better view up close to the door, you see just slightly over the door an image of some type of room that's painted over the doorway. The rocks above it making the arch, pointing outward. At the moment, it seems like it's lit, as if it's active.
So a door lock and unlock when okay.
Uh, you don't really notice anything special about the door itself. from where you are, you don't see anything other than that one singular active glyph over your head.
Do I recognize anything about this glyph? Is it even remotely familiar? Can I guess what it does?
Give me an Arcana check if you would.
Okay. 19.
With your Arcana check, based on what you know of somewhat of magic and various other things, it appears to be some type of triggering glyph that seems to trigger when something happens or moves within range of it.
So I could probably
Proximity.
surmise that this was the source of the clicking that we were hearing, was
You probably
this
could.
rune interacting with us approaching the door.
Yeah,
or leaving
with
it.
your knowledge, I
Maybe.
think that would be a safe assumption to make.
Okay. So we have been invited in. So Naya will cross the threshold and walk in.
Yeah, you open the door, and behind a counter that has various implements and everything on it stands a rather bald
Thank you.
headed dwarf.
I was
Very
about to
orange-eyed.
ask if there was a way for me to see him a little bigger. Awesome.
Very
Yeah,
orange
I
eyes.
zoomed in.
Yeah.
And his eyes seem to glow with an orange color. And he says, "Welcome, welcome to Torgrim's store of baubles and interest. What can I help you with?
What
I
is
don't often see people." He pauses there for a moment, then he says, "This late at night."
Yes, we seem to have found ourselves in the depths of the forest a little later in the evening than we'd anticipated.
Well, he says, "Feel free to take a look, peruse around. I trade in all sorts of things desirable, antiquities, interesting things that others might not always find the best of ways."
Naya's eyes are gonna kind of sharpen at that, and she's going to, kind of looking at him intently, ask him, "Do you do appraisals?"
I do, I do. Do you have
And
something for me that might be of interest to
she will
someone
fish
else?
out the vial with the crystals, the one that was dangerously close to breaking.
His eyes light up more, not really as a glow, but I mean the facial features of someone who looks like they're surprised and happy at the same time, of someone who seems rather interested in something that's been shown before them, uh, happens there. And he says, "Oh my, what might that be? That definitely looks quite interesting."
I was
no
hoping you
no
might be able to
recognition?
tell us
Midnight
something.
also takes the reeds out of her bag and sets them on the table next to it.
Yep, the two.
Let me see if I can get this scaled right here. Definitely not what I wanted.
It's behind the tower image right now too, I think.
It's on the left of it.
Yeah.
There
Yeah, part
we
of
go.
it was behind. There we go. It's still pretty small. There we go. That's
Yeah, I keep
okay, so that's
forgetting to
just
hold Alt.
Yes.
so that's the same image, just not cropped as far.
Yeah,
Yes.
that
Okay.
shows the area around and what
Okay.
the workshop looks like in a way. So he happily holds out his hand and says, "Let me see. I'll happily take a look."
I will go ahead and place file in the sand.
Okay, he takes it. He holds it up to his eye for a moment. He twirls it around in his hand. You know how people do the little coin thing between their
Yeah, where they
fingers?
yeah.
Somehow or another, he manages to take this rather large two vials that have been stuck together and flicks it between his fingers as he's looking at it interestingly. He reaches down behind the counter and pulls up a monocle and gives it a shake and then taps it on the desk before holding it up to one of his eyes. And then he holds up the vials closely among it, and he says, "This appears to absorb magic. Is this the one that has the crack in it or not?"
Yes.
Okay, and he says, "And it looks like it's had quite a fill based on the crack you see here. Uh, would you be willing to let me take this off of your hand? I can give you a trade for a trade.
Yes.
And then he starts rubbing his beard quite interestingly as he looks back to you.
Were you able to discern anything else about it other than its properties of being reactive to magic? We did notice that ourselves.
It doesn't seem to be from around these parts. It looks like something familiar from another place that I've been recently, down near the coast, but this one is quite pristine, as if it's fed off some quite pure magic, which is definitely of interest to me.
Well, it is quite unique, he hears from nowhere.
Down the coast,
Still
that
invisible.
down the coast, that wouldn't happen to be Cashy, would it?
Why, yes, yes, it would. I was there just a few nights ago.
That's where we came from.
Ah, yeah, I've never seen a crystal this pristine from there. It's fed of magic of the waters and the waves and the air around, but this seems to have been exposed to some rather strong and pure magic.
I'll whisper in Naya's ear. Could it be the Fey magic? Oh, he's not hearing it.
This item
Naya's
is quite
Naya's going to give the slightest of nods, and is actively wondering if it's worth giving up the second one. Um,
It is
but
quite rare and unique indeed.
but he mentioned a trade, so we might want to see what is on offer.
Princess is trying to like hype it up a bit.
You're
make
you're
it
trying to inflate the
feel-
value.
Exactly.
I gotcha.
While Naya's trying to think about that, I'll be like, Sir, I have a question then. Since you've been around places, have you heard of my grandma, perchance? Her name's Daphne.
He rubs his beard and he thinks a moment as if he's racking his brain. He tilts his head to one side and then the other, and then he says, I don't think I've sold anything to someone by the name Daphne.
Okay. I've
Well,
been
you
trying
wa-
to get her on my scenting stone, and I'm not getting her. A little
Oh,
worried.
he speaks up at that and says, you may have some trouble around here. For some reason, messages out and in seem to be having trouble through this force. So, but that seems to have changed rather recently for some reason.
It's basically a hint to try again. Um, um,
what
but
about these raids? Anything
can Naya be
interesting about those?
attempting to take his measure while these interactions are going on?
You certainly can. You can give me an insight check if you'd like. And what was the question there, Meteor?
What about the wreaths?
The wreaths?
Mm-hmm.
Not as good. 12.
Can you point out what you're talking about?
The
The
ones with the
wreaths from the
hair.
hags, the
that we
ones that
got
they
from-
were gonna have us wear.
Oh, those wreaths. Okay.
Mhm.
With your insight, you can tell that he definitely seems to be interested. He's holding himself up as if he's quite confident. He's got that merchant's air about him, but it does seem, just with the way the tower is built and the odds and ends that are around here, that it's not quite the normal merchant R you would give. It's kind of the thing you would get from like a street urchin trying to sell you something, but still very confident of what he has, as in he looks like he's holding something close, but you can't quite tell what it is. But
Okay.
that may also just be how a merchant does, because merchants like to keep their full knowledge to themselves and everything.
Yeah. So
You, go ahead.
so while y'all are doing that, Naya hasn't answered him
Mhm.
and is going to peruse the shop and consider while y'all do the rest of this.
Mhm.
Okay. And Princess said, what about these wreaths? And then is
Mhm.
Midnight going to show him a wreath?
Yep, she puts all 5 out on the table.
His eyes light up at that, and he looks down, And then he says, "Is it okay if I take a look?"
You
He
may.
holds his hand out and does the little finger thing as if he wants to grab it, but waits happily on your response.
You
Then he
may.
takes one, and he does the same thing with the monocle, except he takes it away from his eye and taps it on the counter again, then holds it back up to it, and then he pulls the wreath up and holds it to his in front of his eye and twirls it around in his hand, twisting it like someone holding a band or a bracelet might. And then he tilts his head and looks kind of dejected and says, "I have no need of something like this."
Can you tell me any information about it?
It appears to just be a plain vine headband.
Oh,
I mean, it's pretty, I guess. You can feel and hear the question mark as he tried to force himself to say that when he said it, as if he's trying not to hurt your feelings.
So they're not
It took
enchanted anymore.
it took him a moment to search for that word. Naya can definitely feel that that's a lie. He doesn't think it's very pretty.
Mhm.
But he's on the up and up about them no longer being magical or not being
As far
magical
as
as
you
far
can
as he can
tell, he
discern.
he definitely believes that.
All
You feel like
right.
he is truthful about that statement.
Okay.
Uh, one other thing I'd like you to take a look at.
Uh-huh.
Probably not magical, but I just want to check. Puts the golden seed on the counter.
Oh, his eyes light up at that, and he starts rubbing his beard before he's even put the manacle down. He said, "Now that's something I know nothing about." And he
Meteor.
reaches down. Go ahead.
Yep.
I was just gonna say, Meteor, there's another thing you can have him look at is that ring.
We'll get
Oh,
there.
He reaches down and he lifts it up carefully between his fingers, has rather large, fat fingers, and he holds it up to his eye that doesn't have the monocle, and he kind of turns it around in his hand for a moment. Then he sets the seed down on his counter there, and just off to the side, rather suddenly, he pulls out a hammer and smacks it.
no.
This was
Naya
instant.
will attempt to stop him from that.
Go ahead and give
Yeah.
me a
Midnight will shove her hand in the
dexterity
way.
check from both of you.
Sorry, say again. I couldn't hear you over Meteor.
Dex
What kind of
check.
check?
A dex check, please.
Okay,
Dexterity
just straight
ability
dex.
check. Yep.
Can I cast guidance?
You can't because this is a reaction.
Reactionary.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's I figured, but I wanted to ask. Nope.
Oh.
Okay. You both reach out, trying to get him to stop, hands in the air, but it's too late, and there's a smack as the hammer lands on the counter and the seed at the same time. And then he lifts the hammer back up and looks at it. The seed seems unharmed, perfectly fine. And he does the little thing with his beard again and kind of hums to himself, going, hmm. Then he picks it back up, and this time he looks at it with the eye of the monocle on it, and he moves it around there. He doesn't seem like he even noticed that y'all had reached your hand out to try and stop him. He seems very intent on looking at the seed.
Interesting.
And then after a moment, he looks back down at you both, your hands in the air, and kind of tilts his head to the side and says again, "Oh, definitely a trade for a trade."
Midnight will hold her hand out for the seed.
He looks a little dejected at that. All this happiness and glow from his face kind of drains away a little bit, and then he gives you the seed back.
What can you tell me about it other than it's hammer-proof?
Uh, Definitely seems to be magical of some type, though of the type I'm not quite sure. Definitely not from around here, and something I've never seen before. Uh, I would consider that very valuable and unique myself, but I will happily give you a trade for a trade if you're willing to part with it.
See, This kind of confuses me though, because I'm pretty sure Midnight put it like in between her teeth and it squished a little. So how is it hammer-proof?
Maybe other people aren't allowed to damage it?
It definitely felt like when you did it that it was a seed and not a solid piece of gold is what I'll say to that.
But
And this was a rather large mallet that had looked like a cast iron of some type.
Naya will glance at Midnight as if to gauge if she wants attention off of the seed.
We will consider your offer.
He nods
And
his
put it
head
back in the bag.
and says, "Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Feel free to peruse if you'd like, but certain items are only a trade for a trade."
Do
And
you do curse removal?
cursed removal, well, I can certainly take a cursed item off of your hand if it's something that might be interesting.
So you buy it, not remove the curse.
Why, of course, I'm a merchant, not a
Okay.
magician, though there are
Fair
times when
enough.
I'm a
Fair
magician.
enough.
Neat.
Yeah, let's look around, see what he has to trade.
Yep.
Okay, looking around, you see various potions, though strangely, none of them seem to be labeled. But you do see various red potions, blue potions. Some of them look like the healing potions that you had found previously
Hmm.
with that glow and hue. You actually see a few that remind you quite a lot of your tea when you make it, that kind of glow and have sparkles inside of it.
Can I compare one of my tea vials with one of the potions?
You
Just
certainly
visually?
can. So pulling out your vial of tea, and he's definitely watching as y'all
I'm
peruse,
sure
but
he
he doesn't
is.
seem to react to that. And it
Okay.
looks extremely similar. You
Okay.
would probably say that yours looks more concentrated
Hmm.
than the flask of whatever the liquid is that he has, though it's hard to tell exactly why or how that is, other than yours just has more sparkles in it.
Hmm.
Uh,
So I will put my vial back.
Again, you see the wands and the various things hanging from the ceiling. On his front desk, beneath a piece of glass, he has a few candles that seem to be lit. You see the occasional animal skull here and there, though a few of them seem to be missing teeth or have way too many teeth. Uh, you see a preserved two-headed snake. You see a preserved three-headed snake. You see a three-headed snake that's not quite preserved but seems to be moving around in a cage.
See, that stuff is all Midnight's jam.
We know.
N- Unless Naya finds anything that immediately sticks out.
Yeah. Is there
Um,
anything you're specifically kind of interested in looking for? And I can see if it's might be here in the shop.
I don't have
'Cause,
my wish list, so
yeah,
I
there
don't
is.
remember off the top of my head if anything of importance is in there. Um,
Um, can a princess try to invisibly, stealthily get a closer look at that monocle of his?
You can have Princess. Is Princess still invisible from before?
Yes. The entire
Okay.
time he's been talking, he's been invisible.
Okay. That'd be why the voice was heard out.
Yep.
Okay.
Heard out of it.
So yeah, you can have Princess try and go take a look.
Okay,
So
I'll
tell me
roll my
what Princess is
stealth.
doing.
Take a closer look at that monocle. See what
Okay.
its deal is.
So Princess is just kind of flying over towards him.
Yes, stealthily.
My password without a trace
And
is still up, by the way.
I was gonna say, I assume that's still up.
I am still concentrating.
So 22.
Okay, Princess flies over rather stealthily.
While invisible.
Yep, while invisible. Flies behind his head to look at the monocle. Looking through the monocle, Princess sees lots of swirls and like a misty mist within the monocle that's definitely not beyond it.
So it can probably detect magic or at least schools of magic.
Some sort of an appraisal tool.
Yeah.
Naya would like to look for an earring of message.
An earring of message.
It's basically would be an earring that allowed you to use one charge of the message spell per day.
Hmm.
It's an item.
Let's see. You do happen to see an earring that kind of matches that description. You only see one though that seems to be hanging kind of nonchalant on a hook on the wall.
Does it have to be paired?
No, it does not. They're not like linked communication earrings. It's just an earring that you can wear that gives you one charge of message.
Yep.
As
Has
a
a
spell.
blue crystal copper wire kind of wrapped around holding it, which would be, where you would hook it around. Has a small, tiny shape of an ornate horn that's emblazoned within the blue crystal that's on it.
Is that one charge period or one charge per day?
One charge per dawn. Reset to dawn.
So per day, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has 5 charges.
Oh, okay. The one that I saw just mentioned one in the description, but I didn't look into the full item.
I can't think of anything that I'd want to look for.
I don't know that that
Um,
would be enough of a trade, though. I think we
Any
could probably
magic
get more than
bags?
one item out of that.
Any magic bags? I don't think
Any
we have one of
what?
those. Magic bags.
Bag of
You
holding.
definitely see several bags that are hanging from the walls, from the ceiling. A few of them laying on counters, various here and there. Though it's hard to tell exactly what kind they are just looking at them.
Um.
Gently, and then he,
Uh-oh.
You're
that
going
crystal.
robot and cutting out.
Yeah, I did not
Darn.
hear anything you just said.
Am I back now?
Yes.
Okay, so he pops up, watching you all kind of perusing, and says, "So, about that crystal," and starts rubbing his beard again. "Would you care a trade for a trade? I have some special items just for such occasions."
I would be interested to see these special items. I'm not opposed to a trade.
Ah, his face lights up again where it previously drained when the golden seed was taken from his view. And as you're watching him for a moment, he starts patting his chest and around himself as if he's looking for something. And then before your eyes, just kind of in his hand, he pulls forth what appears to be a blue-ish colored mace. And he says, This was used to teach children how to fight. It can be swung, and anything it hits, it'll pop out some candy. Of the type, I'm not sure. I've never had to put it to use."
Naya's just gonna kind of give him a look like, are you serious right now?
You give him the look, and then he lays that out on his counter and says, hmm. Then he starts patting himself around again. This time he reaches to his left and kind of put out what appears to be a crown that has kind of a white spiderwebby look to the bottom, as if it's very old cloth, but it's not spiderweb. And he says, "Now with this, you can see anything dead, whether it's where you are or where it shouldn't be. Does have a slight drawback though, as anything dead can see you. Appears to be a crown of some type."
Naya's still not Not particularly interested.
Oh,
Totally
he
does not
says,
seem like a midnight item, though, doesn't it?
A little bit.
what was that?
Totally does not seem like a midnight item, doesn't it?
He says, Okay, let's see. I have, oh. He reaches behind him, behind his cloak that he's wearing, and pulls out what appears to be another cloak, and says, "Now with this, you can disguise yourself as just about anything you want. Nobody would ever know who you are, where you're from, where you're going."
What's the catch?
Um, he he kind of tilts his head and seems reluctant to say, and he says, "But, well, you don't get full choice over what you look like."
Can I try it?
Sure. He holds it out towards the
Towards the
Uh,
what?
the void.
voice.
Voice. Midnight reaches out and grabs it
Okay.
and puts it on.
Okay. You put it on. It's a rather green gray cloak. You can cast disguise self at will if you so choose.
I cast disguise self.
Okay. What do you want to look like?
Um, since I actually know what this is, um, I'm going to turn into like the most ugly, like wart covered, like just like old man you've ever seen.
I'm surprised you didn't turn into the hags.
I was honestly expecting him to try to turn into one of the other party members, but that's fine.
So he's doing this. You all see this happen. He turns into this old, haggard man who has an ugly, warted nose and face, and skin almost a pale green instead of a normal skinish color. Quite ugly, quite hideous looking.
This is defective. I was trying to turn into you.
He lets out. Well, I did say almost what you want to.
Got anything better?
Though I suppose it is a trade for a trade.
I'll take it off.
I need you, if you would please make a con save.
A con save.
Of course.
Okay,
13.
you take it off just fine.
Okie doke.
Okay, Midnight takes it off. Still, however, looks like a very ugly, haggard old man. He holds out his hand to take the robe back.
Wait. What's going on here? Okay. How do I turn back? I try to drop concentration on it.
There is no concentration.
Yeah, disguise self is a one and done. It's a
Right.
time or a dismiss.
No. He says, "Oh, don't worry. It'll fade after a while."
How
He kind
long's
of
a while?
waves his hand at the air.
All right. Gives it back to
Kalina
him.
asks, and he says, "I'm not quite sure. I've never actually used it myself." He takes it back and he lays it out on the counter there, and then looks back at Naya expectantly.
What about these bags over here? And grab some of the bags.
Okay.
What do they do?
One of those has some interesting beans inside of it that, when planted, grows quite a tall stalk that you can climb. The other
Okay.
one is an interesting bag of holding, though you might have to fight with it to get anything out.
Does it try to bite you?
It does.
Hey, that's scary.
It's rather hungry.
Do any of the items that you put inside ever go missing?
Not that I know of.
I want it.
Naya's going to, I may regret this, going to pull out the second crystal vial.
hmm His eyes light up and the glow gets visually brighter from his gaze, and he says, "You have two?"
The only two in existence.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Would that perhaps sweeten the pot enough to have a look at any other wares? Is there anything else you're holding back
Oh,
for a better offer?
I suppose. I suppose. Two of those, something so valuable. Uh, I could offer this, and he just suddenly pulls forth out of nowhere a small potted plant that has what looks like a small bush of pumpkin seeds. And he says, with this, you can grow a home, you can grow a carriage, you can grow food enough to feed 20 people. You just have to take care of the plant, feed it properly every day. And
What
then
does it
What
eat?
happens if
he
you
sets
don't?
that down on the counter and says, a drop of blood every now and then. But that's all. I promise.
What happens if you don't feed him every day?
It gets a little hungry.
Does it bite too if it gets too hungry?
I don't know. I've always fed it. I was told to always feed it.
It wouldn't happen to be named Audrey Meteor.
So he sets that down and then holds forth his hand and does a little flourish. And then on top of each of his fingers, you see what appear to be root looking things that are shaped like bones. And he said, and there's these 5 for a trade. These will always give you a helping hand when you need it, especially when others might be around. And then he puts those 5 down.
Can I attempt to gauge whether or not he's being forthright about the benefits and drawbacks of these items?
You certainly can. You can give me an insight check.
Eventually, these are gonna come back to bite me here. Too many checks. 18.
As far as you can tell, he's being sincere about everything that has a drawback that he said, and about the usefulness somewhat of some. The one that was kind of weird is the bone roots, that you feel like he was kind of
Sketchy.
trying to sell it as more than it is, or less than it is, depending on how you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
The what he seemed to be saying about the little pumpkin seed tree, he seemed to be very sincere about. The
How many
same,
how many times can you grow something with the pumpkin seed tree?
it's got 5 seeds on it right now.
You can grow 5 things.
Is it 1 drop of blood per seed or 1 per day?
Are you asking?
Yes.
He says 1 per day.
We could technically use it once a day for
Every morning it seems to grow itself back.
we could technically use it for a house every night.
We could. I'm thinking about it. There may be a drawback to that.
Replacement
If it-
tiny hut?
If it's like the Cinderella pumpkin and it vanishes
Disappears
at
at-
midnight, that may be a problem. You know?
So,
Yeah.
out of character, which ones
Uh-huh.
do we think sounds interesting?
Yeah, feel free to go ahead and talk out of character if y'all need to. If y'all want to discuss things, if any of these seem interesting or not.
Out
Still
of
both your own.
character, I do not care about the mace at all.
I want the earring.
The mace that I have is literally going to be about the same amount of damage, and all it does is give me candy. I don't need that.
That's
The
candy.
earring's definitely a good one. I think even though the bag of holding bites, I think it could still be pretty good.
I
mean,
do not.
if you can tame the bag of holding to only bite people attempting to steal from it, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I'm a little afraid of a biting bag of holding. Personally.
Yeah, I'm a little. I blame you for this, Meteor, but I'm mimic shy.
Oh,
Midnight would love to have a biting bag of holding.
I gotta stay quiet.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I was also thinking about the crown for midnight, maybe if nothing else. But I was just hoping for
Well,
something
kind-
more immediately useful that didn't seem like a monkey's paw item, and all of these seem like monkey's paw items.
Staffs and
I mean-
wands? Can we ask about staffs and wands?
You
If
If there's
certainly
anything
can.
useful?
the
That
crown,
was an out of
I think.
character.
I know what the negative of the crown is.
Yeah,
I'm
but
aware.
I don't think it sounds all that useful just seeing undead.
Right. Well, depending.
Yeah.
Never
it could
know
be
when someone's
situationally
undead and you
useful.
don't know it.
Right. It could be
The
situationally
Death Wish cupcake.
useful.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And I do think the earring itself that I found earlier that I specifically asked for is still pretty useful.
With how
I just
obsessed I
feel
am
like
with contacting
for-
Nana.
I just feel like a single earring is not a good trade for that crystal. I feel like we should get multiple items for that if we were going to do that level.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Let's ask about wands and staffs though too. Please.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm honestly curious as to if he has any shields. That would be something that I might be interested in upgrading.
Do you have any wands, staffs, or shields?
Oh, I certainly do. Though most of them are just your mundane magical items. But I do have one or two that's a little bit special. Though, based on your reaction so far, I don't think you would be quite interested in those.
Well,
Does-
now you got me curious.
Firedale, does this guy so far with the items that we've been shown kind of come across as a he's a merchant, but he's selling like novelty magic items, right? Particularly useful ones.
Based on how it's coming across, he thinks they're all quite useful in whatever way they are. The items that you see, a few of them that you actually know what they are definitely, proper magic items.
They just
But
have
the
drawbacks.
specific ones that he seems to be offering a trade for a trade all seem to have some quirk or
Drawback.
drawback to compensate for whatever goodness it might be. Things that most people normally wouldn't want to just buy on their own.
The stuff he couldn't possibly just sell for coin, yeah, because nobody
Right.
would want it.
And stuff that he probably wouldn't buy just for coin.
Mm-hmm. So probably trades he's gotten from other people.
Okay.
I
So,
wonder if he'd want your ring then.
Yeah, I'm still.
I mean,
hoping
it would fit right in with what he's gathering.
Yep.
so-
I'm still kind of hoping I can remove the curse on it and have an actual ring of protection, though.
Well, that's even if it was a ring of protection, it may not be.
Yep.
Would a normal just like remove curse?
Normally, if you remove a curse on an item, it's no longer magical unless it's a very special circumstance. It just removes
Uh,
all of the enchantment.
Yeah, because usually for most curse things, the enchantment itself is part of the curse. Like
Right.
the ring
Gotcha.
itself,
Yeah,
it
there
made
there
you
is
think you got
no
a +5. It doesn't mean it gave you +5, and
right.
the curse is that it negates that. It is the curse is it makes you feel like it's a +5, but it's actually a
Gotcha.
-5.
So removing
So-
the curse wouldn't turn it into a normal protection. Got it.
That's normal.
Do we have any I guess I would also ask if there are any tents or similar items that would make resting on the road easier? Would be also
You,
the question. So the wands, the staffs, the shields, and then that.
yeah, looking around, as far as you can tell, you don't see anything that stands out as plainly mundane.
Darn. No Harry Potter bigger on the inside tents.
No makeshift tiny huts.
Yeah.
So what was the like? Sounded like he said he had an interesting shield.
Oh, he said he
Oh,
had
the
normal.
yeah,
He
and
said
he,
there was one that might be.
yeah, but he was pretty sure that Naya wouldn't be interested in it. He said,
Can we hear about it anyway?
"Oh, sure, sure. It's a rather nice shield. It's a little bit more defensive than it looks." And he reaches behind himself, and from nowhere again, he pulls out a shield. It has what appears to be a little bat skull that's in the center of it. And he says, "It's very good at blocking. However, every time you're hit, it may screech a little bit."
That doesn't sound bad. Midnight whacks it.
Okay, you whack it. He looks with a gasp on his face as you do so, and he's holding it there. I need everyone to please make a dex save.
Okay.
Nat 20.
7.
11.
Yeah, you're gonna get us all in trouble except for you.
Yep. There it is.
Okay.
Naya saw you go for it and just kind of face palmed and did not dodge.
9.
You tempt midnight with something like this.
I was gonna ask a question, not with the
Okay. Naya, Kalina, Princess, and Colfax, you take 3 sonic damage, 3 thunder damage.
Ow! That hurt!
As the shield seems to vibrate, the little bat mouth opens, and a high pitched sound echoes rather shortly in just the area around, and the sound kind of pierces your ears, and it's definitely painful.
For that, I'm gonna
does
take.
does the holder of the shield look like they were impacted by that?
He looks rather taken aback that it was hit. He doesn't seem like he has reacted to the squeal.
Okay.
For that,
was a fabulous noise.
Yeah.
for that,
Midnight.
hold on. For that, I'm gonna take. Because I have my staff of flowers in my hand. I'm gonna bonk Midnight in the head with it.
Yeah, so midnight, you heard nothing. You just saw the bat mouth open and nothing came out.
Oh, I
And-
heard nothing. Interesting.
And you were the one who hit it.
And I want to bonk Midnight in the head for that. Please and thank you.
Princess definitely heard a high.
Nothing happened.
Princess definitely heard a high pitched squeal.
Yeah, Princess did.
Do not do that again.
He
Fine,
looks rather
fine.
angry
Ow.
at the moment, and he puts the shield back behind him.
Well, you let me try the robe. I figured
You
I
have
could try
to
the shield
ask
too.
first.
My bad.
Naya's like, well,
I'm gonna
we will
bonk her in
take
the head
shield,
again.
seeing as my compatriot has
He raises his hand and points at Midnight.
Mm-hmm.
Midnight, you find yourself standing in front of the door outside. Everyone else just sees Midnight disappear.
Oi! Where'd I
I'm
go?
going on the principle of you break it, you buy it here. So I'm going to accept a trade for the shield, but I am annoyed.
So is he.
I think
So-
Midnight's been kicked out.
I'm
think so.
sorry.
Y'all hear a knock at the door and Midnight outside saying, "I'm sorry."
Actually, you hear
It's
it
okay.
inside saying, "I'm sorry."
Oh, yeah, that's what it would be.
Because Princess.
Yep, you are totally right.
Which would probably confuse him a little bit.
Yep. So he looks a little bit confused at that for the moment, though he looks
No, I
up.
come back in.
Princess can see that he looks right at him, and then he says, "You can re-enter. Touch nothing more."
Yes, sir.
So was the shield would the
Shield.
shield be valued at one or both of those crystals?
Just one.
Okay.
A trade for a trade. I would never do anyone wrong.
So I will accept that trade. So
Oh,
it'll be
are you
one.
sure?
I think the shield could be interesting for sure.
Yeah. I
Oh,
would
he-
accept that trade, but I would also ask if it would be okay to also accept a mundane item along with it, or if it's simply one item for one item.
my trade for trades are one for one.
Okay.
Though I do make some exceptions, such as the pumpkin tree plant, which definitely has 5 and continues to grow more, and these bone roots, which are 5 for 1 since they're kind of a single use.
Right. They don't like to be separated.
He says, "No, no, it's just you can only use them once."
I see.
But the pumpkins, it regrows every day,
Midnight
so.
will reach into her bag,
Mm-hmm.
pull out the ring,
Mm-hmm.
hold it
His
towards him,
eyes
and
light
say,
up.
well, Princess will say, "I'd like to trade this for your biting bag, please."
That's if you trade for it.
I think you'll find it very interesting.
Okay, he holds out his hand. Can I see?
Yes.
I'm
Place
gonna
it in his
hold my
hand.
wand ready to bonk Midnight again if anything happens.
Yeah, all of his fingers are very much pushed together at the moment. He is offering his palm and not his fingers.
Yep, so that you can drop the ring into it.
Mm-hmm.
Cupping palm.
So are you going to give it to him?
Yeah. She hands it to him.
Okay, he takes it. He checks it out the same as he did the others. He looks it over for a moment. He like strokes his beard a minute, and he says, "Hmm. On lid down, the up is interesting. Sure. I'll trade you the tooth bag for this ring.
Thank you.
Normally I would sell it, but this is an interesting item."
All right. Remove that from my inventory.
What was that?
He's removing the ring from his inventory.
Okay. And I will make this item for you later. It's a bag
Okay.
of gnawing.
Okay.
Of course it is.
But is it actually like a bag of holding though?
Yes.
Okay. It just it likes to nibble.
Yep, it likes to nibble.
Yeah. And I will also point at the earring of message, the single earring, and express interest in that as well.
Do you have a second one of those?
No, I'm afraid of that. I only have one.
Do you have any similar items that can be used for communication?
I have a pair of stones that can be used to talk to each other.
That's
He's
not
thinking
really
aloud.
helpful
I
to
have
me.
a few scrolls. Nothing major beyond that. Oh, I have a horn that whenever you speak into it, it makes your voice so loud everyone can hear you from miles around.
A mega horn.
But yeah, so Naya would be interested in the shield and that earring, and then possibly health potions
Yeah.
out of what we've seen so far.
Okay.
And then I don't know that we have an actual tent. So if he did have even a normal tent, that would also be of interest.
He did say no mundane.
No mundane items, but then she said something about special. So that's why I was
Mhm.
asking. Is we can see if that can be found in the shop.
Yeah.
Uh, there is a tent. Again, nothing is labeled. You do see something that appears to be a rolled up tent of some type.
Yeah. I'm trying to look up magical items to even try to ask about them.
That's what I'm literally doing now.
Midnight, with her hands behind her back, is looking down at it. What's
Okay.
this one do?
No, he says that's quite a large, small tent. It looks like it's just big enough for one person to sleep under, but once you crawl under it, it actually holds four. It's great for
Naya will also be interested
family
in that.
making
Yeah.
trips.
How much?
100 gold.
Die.
Don't think we have quite that much at our disposal.
I mean, if you'd rather, I can trade for it, but your that gem definitely would be more worthwhile of any of these. And he waves his hands over the things that he's got laid out on his counter there.
I mean, Naya's going to take the shield. That's going to happen. The tent was just a thought because with him being a shop, I don't think he's going to be hosting us for the night. I don't think that's happening.
We can't
So,
ask
we're
if
still
we
gonna have
can
to find
sleep
somewhere to
outside,
sleep.
though. We can't ask if we can
Um,
sleep outside.
Midnight's gonna like get a look on her face like she has a bright idea, and she's gonna reach. She's gonna go over to him, reach in her bag, and pull out 3 goblin skulls.
Okay.
I see you like skeletal remains, like I do.
I do.
What do you think of these?
He tilts his head and looks at them, and he says, "They're rather plain, aren't they?"
Yeah, but then you can stick these in them, and pulls out velociraptor feathers.
Relief
Gives a little
velociraptor
chuckle.
feathers.
He gives a little chuckle, and he thinks he has an idea of what you're trying to do. And he says, "I'll take the lot for 50 gold."
Deal.
Dang.
Hey, that's a great deal in my.
That is a great deal. Oh my
He
god.
places 50 a small bag and counts out 50 gold, puts it inside the bag, and sets it on his counter in front of you.
I'm gonna pull out that unique 15 gold piece coin that we have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna place that down as well.
No, he lifts that up and looks at it interestingly, spins it around, taps his monocle, looks at it, kind of turns it in his head, and says, "This appears to be quite old and not from around here either, but I can easily trade you a gold for a gold."
Wait, what? What gold do you have?
It's a 15 gold piece coin. It's printed in the likeness of a pious martyr.
Oh,
We
yeah, I had
found
that
it
in
with
my
our
inventory
equipment.
too.
Yeah, it's that item.
I
Yeah.
was about to bring that out myself.
Oh, yeah, that's listed in the haversack. I didn't realize that you had grabbed it in
Yeah,
particular.
I think I had grabbed that one.
Okay, I don't have that marked as you having it, but that's okay.
So yeah, so he mentioned it. He said, I will happily trade 15 gold for 15 gold."
I'm going to hand him the 15 gold pious murder thing,
Mm-hmm.
and 75 gold for the tent.
Jeez.
That
You mean
50 gold
85?
got me just enough.
You mean 85?
Oh, is it 85?
85 and 15 is 100. 75
Um,
and
I'm
15 is 90.
3 gold short.
We also have a copper chalice.
You're right.
So pull out the copper chalice. Just all of our treasure items. We're just gonna exchange them for gold right now. That's what's gonna happen.
Okay,
If-
I think
if
most
anyone
of the
just has
stuff
3
does have a
gold-
gold piece value on it.
Yeah, the chalice is 7 gold pieces and 31 silver.
So any treasure items you have, he will happily trade in. The more unique it is, if it's something very unique,
Will
let
he
me know.
accept the promissory note worth 11 gold pieces from Ralph the Liar?
He will.
Okay. I think that'll put us at enough.
He will only give you half though
Ah,
for the promissory note.
that might still give us enough.
I
close.
have
He says, "I
a-
can't believe Ralph is still handing these out."
I have a slimy eye. Has a metal tag or pendant hanging from it that's varnished.
That's the eye
That's
that
the
y'all
witch's
crushed.
eye.
We
that's
just
the
read
witch's
that.
eye?
Yeah,
Oh,
we need to
We
take
just
that
read
out.
Okay.
Yeah, that is
We
no more.
also have a receipt for fine wine that's been uncollected from a tavern somewhere.
Uh-huh.
That
He
did not
won't-
have a gold value, I don't think.
No.
I think we have enough for the tent.
He
though.
won't trade for the fine wine receipt.
Okay. That's fine.
The only
I
two
can offer a
things.
little bit of gold to offset whatever we still don't have.
So I have 82 plus 15, which is 97. So we just need 3 gold.
And that's including the copper chalice.
That
And the
was not
promissory note?
including the anything you did. That's just what I have on my person.
Well, I mean, even just the promissory note would get you
Yeah.
well, half of 11, so rounding up or down, Fido.
5.5.
Okay.
5
So
gold,
five gold,
5 silver.
5 silver.
So I'll take all of mine out, and you keep 2 gold, 2 silver, or 2 gold, 5 silver for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, any treasure you want to convert, just please let me know which treasure it is you're converting so I can keep track of anything special that might have been needed later or not.
Oh,
The
dear.
only two specialized things I have, which I'm not getting rid of my quilt, it ain't happening, would be the runic carved antlers.
Yeah, so I'll give up the chalice and the note.
Okay, he does trade
Unless
for those.
yeah.
After you trade him the note, from beneath the desk, he pulls up a pile that looks vaguely familiar, and he places that when he unwraps the pile. He's got a piece of twine wrapped around it, and he puts that on top of it, and then rewraps the twine. And he said he will come in here one day, and
You will
I will
collect.
collect.
There will be a reckoning when he comes in, yeah. Oh my goodness.
You wouldn't believe how many people show up with those.
Okay, so Meteor, did you use the funds for the chalice too, or just the note?
I think just the note.
Okay, so I'll add the
That was
funds
the
for
11,
the
right?
chalice to mine. Yeah,
Or the
the note would have been the
5.5?
5 and 5.
Yeah. Then yeah, that's all I use.
Okay, so
And then he says, "So, what would you like to trade for the crystal, little miss?"
I believe there was interest in the potted plant.
Oh, we're doing the potted plant?
And
Well,
there
it
was
can be
interest in
also-
the shield.
Blood one?
It can also be used as a carriage too, he said, right?
Yeah, there was interest in
Oh.
both of those.
I have a question. With
Yeah.
the pumpkins, with the carriage, does it draw itself or do we need horses?
I was told you would need to provide your own method of transportation.
That's what I
Okay.
suspected.
So it's a glorified wagon that disappears at the end of the day.
You're on mobility.
Okay. Then I mean, I feel like I want the shield. I don't think we can get both of those items. I don't believe.
Trade for trade is 1 for 1,
Yeah.
except for the bone roots.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we
Which
do
I
have
not
the
be
2
good.
crystal vials.
Right.
So
But he brought out the potted plant when I mentioned I had a second.
Hmm.
So I don't know if that was a 2 for 1 on
That's
that
still
one.
1 for 1.
Oh, okay. So we could do both.
It's just a little bit more valuable in his eyes.
And what is everything that the potted pumpkin can do?
You can make it's a large pumpkin that you can feed 20 people with. It'll give you a place to stay for the night, or it'll give you a way to get around.
Okay. So yeah, I will make both of those trades for the shield and the potted pumpkin plant.
Okay. He looks rather
Oh,
happy about that and
Mhm.
happily offers both
Oops.
to you
Sorry for hitting the mic.
in trade for both the crystal vial sets that you've got.
Yep. So I will take those crystal vials out of my inventory.
Is there anything that Colfax wants?
Where is Drema during all of
I
this?
don't know.
Drimma and Good Boy have stayed outside.
Okay.
Is there anything you think would be good for me?
Looking around, one thing kind of catches your eye. It appears to be a bow on the wall that seems like it's made of bone and muscle and sinew that's been dried.
What about that earring? I'm sad now.
Kind of scary looking.
I think the earring was a purchase thing.
So it is a bow, and if you ask about it, he'll say that it does a little bit more. It's a little bit better for shooting than your general everyday bow. However, it does have it does like to prick you every now and then.
Huh,
So
that's
what?
scary.
Yeah, it's a hungry bow.
Hmm.
How much is that earring?
Yeah.
The earring is one moment while I look.
Push comes to shove, we can try to offer tea vials. We have them,
Or flowers?
or flowers.
Uh, the earring, I will say, is that that 50.
Okay.
Definitely don't have enough.
I only have 38.
28.
We do have the 15 gold piece coin, which I decided not to trade, but we could. That would give me another 15, which would give me enough.
All the thinking.
While you're
It's a
thinking
cool
that,
coin, though. I kind of wanted to keep it.
I'm gonna dig out my sending stone and just hold on to it.
Okay.
Do I feel a connection?
You just hold on to it. Nothing special.
Well, I'm trying to reach out. Do I feel a connection?
Oh, are you trying to
Yes,
do the thing?
yes.
Just trying to use it.
Nobody picks up.
Don't know.
Alright,
It
I
is
will.
late at night.
Yeah. I will pull out a vial of the Fayflower tea
Mm-hmm.
and be like, I'm a little short on gold for the earring. Would this be accepted in addition to a sum of gold?
He looks at you for a moment, kind of rubs his beard, turns his head and looks at Midnight,
Well,
and then says, "How much gold do you have? What's the difference that we need to work with here?"
I spent all mine.
Naya has 38 gold and 70 silver.
Okay. So you say 38 gold, and he rubs his beard for a minute and says, "For the earring, mm, do you have more vials of that? Maybe 2 more so I can have 3?"
We do.
Okay, then 3 of those and uh 35 gold, and I will make the trade.
So how much are these vials of tea worth, would you say?
To me, at the moment, they're worth 5 gold each
Okay, not
for
too
this
bad.
trade.
What do you normally sell yours for?
I normally sell them for, well, a little bit more than that.
Mine
Of
do
course,
seem to be a bit
that's
more
business.
concentrated than what you have available.
They do appear so, yes.
Surely they would be worth a little bit more than 5 gold apiece.
You can give me a persuasion check.
Would the flowers themselves be more valuable?
But Naya will shush
Shush,
you.
shush, shush.
I have
His
my
eyes-
wand.
His
I
eyes light
know.
up and perk up, and he
Oh,
listens. Flowers, you say?
Terrible persuasion. Yep.
Interesting.
he might not have known how to make it.
Yeah, I was too focused on getting you to shush, so I failed my persuasion. That's how I'm playing it.
Barely.
I got distracted.
Yeah. He doesn't seem to really be willing to give in on his price of 5 gold for each. But his eyes have lit up, and he is quite interestingly looking at Kalina, who has mentioned
Uh-huh.
flowers. You have the flowers that can make this tea?
I can create
Well,
them.
before Kalina gets that out of her mouth, Naya will pull one of the half flowers,
Hmm.
Or some of the petals, rather.
the hybrid ones.
Oh.
So the off-brand flower.
Correct.
Okay. He looks quite interested at the flower, and his face has lit up a little bit, and he says, "Okay, okay, I'll tell you what. I'll make the trade, an earring for the flower."
Now I feel bad that it's a half flower.
I figure the half flower makes it more interesting. Because finding a full flower, you just go to the Feywild for that. The half flower is specifically from the leaking of the Fey magic into the mundane.
Okay, can
I
I
feel like that's rarer.
can I pull out my full flower and
Mhm.
put it on the table and see if he has any other recognition from it?
You pull out the full flower and lay it on the table, and he kind of shoos it away as you're about to lay it down. And he says, "I don't want that flower. I want that flower," and points at the one that Naya is holding forward.
Precisely, the hybrid's more valuable.
So for shits and giggles, Firebutt, out of character question,
Uh huh.
can I make the hybrid flower?
You, out of character, in character, you've never tried.
Naya, and it was one hybrid flower for the earring?
That's what he said. He said,
I
Print
will
that,
accept that
that
trade
for
because I still have
Print-
5 more of them.
I am
Princess
gonna-
is going to go over to Kalina and whisper to her, "Whatever you do not tell him that you can make them."
I'm just gonna run out of the store for a minute and be like, I'll be right back! And I'm gonna run out, make sure I'm hidden
Oh
enough.
no, no.
So Naya will put her tea back away, the vials away, and we'll make the
and
trade
he
for
trades
the flower for the earring
for the earring.
before anything else can happen. Yep.
Can I do I
Kalina
have
resumes out of the building.
can I do I have to stealth to try and do this? For him to not see what I'm doing?
He is inside the building. I mean, the door closed behind you.
Okay, can I try and make one of the hybrid flowers?
Okay, you concentrate into your flower staff. Mark off one of your marks,
Yep.
one of your charges.
Yep.
Try as you might, thinking about that hybrid flower, and out pops a perfectly normal, pristine one. Not
Okay.
a hybrid.
Okay. Well, I still have a hybrid flower on myself as well.
Yes, you do.
So you try
So
to
I'll
make it, but you get the perfectly good fey flower.
I'll pick up the fey flower, put it in my bag, and come back in and just look kind of
Okay,
dejected.
add another fey flower to your inventory. And Kalina walks back in the door looking all dejected.
Oh.
And he says, "Are you all right, miss?
Yeah, I just needed to check something. I left something outside.
I have a space you can sleep, but I'm afraid there are no trees for using the restroom. You'll need to go out into the forest for
Hmm.
that. I hope you made it in time."
I'm good. I am good.
I'm
Hey,
glad. I'm glad. I'm afraid I don't sell leaves or parchment for that.
oh, it was no
You're
bathroom issues.
you're willing to house us for the night. That seems exceedingly generous. Is there a cost associated?
Oh, not at all. As long as nobody else is staying out there, I have a spot that's actually laid out to help people who might find themselves near my shop late at night. There's a fire pit prepared, and it is warded against things that may want to do you harm.
So we didn't need to trade for the pumpkins. Oh well.
Well, that's good for
We
later.
can use them in the future, though.
I'll pass that off on to somebody else in a minute. Naya's not gonna hang on to those.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to give you bedroll wise or tent wise, though. You now have a tent,
I think we've resolved our tent problem now. Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
A
But
4-person tent.
it's free to use. It's outside. It is no hair off my beard.
Well, I believe this has been a fruitful trading experience for us both.
It has. It has. He seems quite happy with himself, and he seems to be coveting the flower much more than the vials at the moment. I mean, he seems like he has gotten the best thing a kid can get type
Yep.
deal. He's
Well,
quite
and
interested in that flower and
I'm
yeah,
curious
and
how
I've
much
been
he
very
buys them
beard.
for.
well. The hybrid flower cannot be obtained, as far as we know, outside of an area that has
Been corrupted.
been bled out Fey energy.
Yep.
Yeah, he is quite proud of himself for that trade.
It will be very, very, very interesting to see if he can attempt to replicate them and regrow them, because I did make sure you said petals earlier, Kalina, but Naya intentionally kept the entire flower.
Oh, I have an entire flower as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, Naya's been pulling petals off as she makes tea.
Yeah, but I actually kept an entire flower, and I
Yeah.
believe it's in.
Yeah, one of the first ones you picked.
Yep. And then I
Yeah,
also have
Naya
a
has as
full.
well. So yeah, Naya offered the entire one of the entire flowers. Um rather than just petals.
So it's okay that you both have one.
Yes. I'm just clarifying that I also have I'm storing them as flowers. That's how that's been going.
So
Um
he's looking at the flower and then at the vials and says, "Well, if y'all are done here, it was very nice meeting you all. Uh, I hope you can visit this old man again sometime. Anytime you'd like to come to Torgrim's store of interesting baubles."
I'll need you to give me the name and spelling of the store later, Meredith. Just out of
Please.
character.
What's your monocle do?
Sorry, I was typing the name.
That's what I said later. But
Okay. Well, I want to do it before I forgot it.
that's fair.
My monocle lets me appraise and decide the interest of where items might have come from, might be going, who might be interested.
Cool.
Then he says, he kind of waves in the air towards his door
Yep.
and says,
Naya's going to say, we appreciate your hospitality. We will get out of your hair now.
"Oh, I appreciate the trade. Please have a pleasant evening, or a pleasant night, as they say."
And
And
Naya
he
will go for
busies
the door.
himself putting the stuff that he had laid out on the counter back on his person. If you stick around to watch, he actually takes the mace and he picks it up in his hand. He spins it around slightly and then pats his side, and the mace is just suddenly gone.
Okay.
Mhm.
And he does this for the rest. I really thought those kids would like the candy. The door closes.
So
Everyone is outside.
wait, so where's the area that he said we could stay?
Down to the side.
From
Down
the
to the
front
side.
door,
Yep.
if you turn
By the
right
fire pit.
walking out, there's a large circular area that appears to be flagstone, the same as the path.
Can you
In the
move his
center of it, there's a
pictures?
fire pit. Pardon?
Can you move his
the
pictures?
picture of the guy.
Because you're blocking it.
Oh, sorry.
Ow!
There.
I keep
I am
hitting the mic.
shocked that I got $50 for my skull.
Yeah, you can't
$50
see it
for the
in the
skulls and
image, but
feathers.
it's over here to the from the front looking left, but coming out the door to your right.
Naya will offer the earring of message to Midnight.
Oh, I'm sad.
Ooh.
You
Well,
wanted
are you-
it?
Yeah. Because I'm so
Oh.
obsessed with trying to contact Nana.
Oh,
Well-
yeah, give it to her then.
Well, message is much more limited. You can't choose who you're sending it to. You send it in a direction.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
So
that would be why it didn't work.
right. So I figured give it to Midnight. That way, Midnight never has to worry about being silenced again.
True.
The loss of a
I was
familiar.
thinking sending. Got it.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is the one where you
message.
point your finger and it's like,
You can
Yeah.
try to target a person, but it just goes in a
Okay.
direction, very short range by
Towards
comparison.
creature within 120 feet.
Right.
Yeah, I was thinking it was
Okay.
sending. Never mind. I'm good.
No, definitely not. That would not have been that cheap for sending.
sure, I'll take the earring, I guess.
Naya's just trying to make Midnight feel like she's not going to not have a way to communicate should something happen to Familiar again.
It's actually a really good idea.
She wants to try to get
Make
rid of
her
that
feel
fear right now.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Fair. She
Additional
appreciates it.
security blanket.
Yep. So I will write up these items so you can add them to you. But you have the pumpkin seed plant,
Yep.
which is a rather weird thing to say, considering pumpkins normally have their own seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Naya will offer that to anyone else in the party that wants to take charge of feeding and taking care of that plant. It's not really her thing, but
It
Could be
seems like a
useful.
midnight thing to.
It does seem like a midnight thing, but midnight's gotten a lot of
and I mean you could be bit by the biting bag and then use that to drop the blood. I don't know.
While you all are deciding that and deciding how watch is going to be, I will be back in just a moment after in Little Dragon's Cave.
Okay.
Hope everything comes out okay.
Yep.
I don't want to hog all the items, so if anyone else wants it, they can. If not, Midnight will gladly take it.
I don't think Kalina is about blood right now.
I am also not about blood.
Yep.
Okay.
And then Naya will probably use the shield unless using a shield, in which case they can.
Yeah.
You are cutting out a little bit, by the way.
Okay, I'll rejoin.
So
Alrighty. But yeah. Naya will use the shield unless someone else wants to start using a shield.
I'm good.
go for it.
The bat skull motif's not really her thing, but the effect seemed useful.
Maybe we can find somebody to change the bat motif into something else.
Let's see. So I'm getting the biting bag, the earrings, and the plant.
Earring, by the way, not earrings.
I am gonna say I'm not concerned about you getting the lion's share of items from this meteor because you did spend most of the money.
That's fair.
And the
You spent a lot of your money on the
tent.
thing, so on
And
the tent.
The
so I'm
tent
fine with
is
that.
the
That's
tent
gonna be
is an
great
us
for
thing.
everyone, so, yeah. I spent like literally every bit of money I have. I have 5 copper left.
And the pumpkin is
Yes.
going to be a group item anyways.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's more than fair. I don't think that's a problem.
And I think Midnight likes to force science
Yeah.
with blood.
Uh,
Not the first time.
I'll wait till he gets
Yeah, there just wasn't a lot there that personally would have interested Naya.
Mhm.
And, like, yeah, the candy might have been a cool thing. Were they actually still acting like kids? But
Mhm.
at this point, we're spoiled by good berries.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Because I think in the description for that item, it does state that the candies are 1 HP,
yeah, it's 1 temporary hit point.
which is
From the candies.
basically a good berry, but doesn't have
Yeah.
the nutritional value.
Yeah, but yeah, the good berries are ultimately better. So,
The funny thing is, you give Midnight the earring, and you watch this green, ugly old man put it on.
yep.
Until you come back to normal.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, it's the same duration as a normal disguise self, which means you'll
I'm
be
back.
you in an hour. We'll find out.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Thank you. And yes,
We-
Midnight is still very much the
Yep.
pristine view of a rather ugly and scary dwarven man.
Yep. So we were just talking distribution of items while you were away, so it was fine.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
Midnight has the potted plant. Midnight has the earring.
The biting
Midnight
bag,
has the biting
focus
bag.
tent.
Midnight has everything, apparently.
The tent is a group item, and then I have the shield.
Could we put the tent in the haversack later on for
Yeah,
holding?
yeah.
That was more a
I don't know
question
if
for
it's an item
Midnight.
that he has to create yet for me to add it.
I will say generalities and with what you all know magic
Oh, yeah.
wise,
Because it's a
that
spatial thing. That's not a good idea.
Yeah,
putting the
yeah,
tent
that's right.
in the haversack
Yeah,
probably
we'll put
not a
it.
good
Yeah,
idea.
We'll
no,
put
okay.
it in the normal backpack, in the
Yeah.
explorer's pack.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's true. Spatial magic,
Just-
dimensional magic.
Also,
Um,
don't put the bag of
Yeah, biting
gnawing.
bag also should not go in there.
Right. Well, she's gonna carry the biting bag
Yeah.
on the shoulder.
Yeah.
So, Midnight's gonna go back up to the door and knock again,
Okay.
and wait for him to answer.
There is no answer.
Probably gone to sleep.
Have you fed this plant today?
From up above, you hear a voice kind of call out through the window that's above the main room. Today, yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. Thank
And you see the lights inside
Go out.
the place start to go out.
Yep. So we'll need to feed it again in the morning.
And walking away from the front door, Midnight hears a click.
Okay. Can Midnight fly up all the way, like, up? Not Midnight, sorry, Princess. Fly all the way up there and just peek in the window?
Princess can. So Princess
Stealthily.
flies up, peeks through the window, and just sees blackness, even with the dark vision.
120 foot of dark vision.
It's
and can see
probably
through
magically
magical
darkened.
darkness. Princess can see through magical darkness.
Yeah, you see black.
Interesting.
There might be curtains.
Yeah, there are black
Oh.
curtains in the window.
Yep.
No, I can't see through that.
I was hoping somebody wasn't going to say anything.
Yeah, so
Midnight's staring intently for a bit, and then it's like, oh wait, that's a curtain.
yeah.
Right.
Alright, so Naya's gonna set up for bed. Get our new tent pitched.
Okay, you set the tent out, and you lay it down as if you're going to open up a tent and start it. But as soon as you roll out the tent, it sets itself up. The top of
Oh.
it raises up.
Oh,
The poles fix themselves, and it appears to be, from the outside looking into it, a tent that's about big enough for one person.
So who's sleeping outside of the tent? Because there's only room
whoever's
for
on
4 of
watch.
us.
Whoever's on watch
Usually that's
will
Drema.
go in and out. So
Drema and Good Boy were waiting outside, and they happily followed you around to the rest area.
Yep. And we shouldn't necessarily need a watch if we feel we're safe enough. He said it's warded, but I mean that's up to us individually how much we trust that.
Well,
There's still
Princess will
one.
stay on guard regardless.
There's still one problem. Only 4 of us can fit in the tent,
Yeah.
and
If
there's
needed,
5.
Naya will not be in the tent because she needs less sleep. Naya just goes into a trance. She doesn't fully sleep, so
And
What
I
happens if
commit-
more than 4 of us try to go in the tent?
we just are cramped, I think.
You can attempt it and see.
Midnight will stay up on a watch regardless.
Midnight could also go in the ring.
Mm-hmm. Only for like 6 hours though.
Yeah, Naya will be outside. Will not go into the tent.
Alrighty. Are y'all going to light the fire pit that's prepared there? Or are you going to not light
Yeah.
anything?
If
I mean,
we're
we
going
don't necessarily need to have
It's
dinner. We
warded.
could buried, but
If it's warded, then sure.
Well, I
Just
mean,
for warmth.
it is a chilly night. I mean, it's not
if it's
but,
cold, then yeah.
I don't
you
need
know,
to.
it's a cool fall night.
You got
Mhm.
your blanket.
Yeah, honestly, you're the one who least needs to be in the tent with your blanket.
Yes, but at
But-
least I'm protected.
I'll take
Mhm.
first shift.
Y'all hear howling in the distance. It's still very much in the distance. The occasional owl. So y'all good on watches?
Yeah. During my watch, I will attune to my new rod.
Okay. So the night passes without incident. As soon as the last person wakes up, and this would be happening as you're waking up. However, Naya and Princess would see this happen as it happens. Is you're there and you're relaxing and looking around, maybe talking with Drima or playing a game or something, and you look up and the tower is gone. The flagstones that y'all set your space up on just suddenly disappears out from under your feet there's no pop, there's no poof, there's no sound. It's just suddenly gone.
Okay.
Where the fire pit was is looks to be, a very old campfire. Beyond that, it is gone.
Our items are still there.
Yeah.
Everything that we
still there.
placed within the space is still there.
Yes,
Okay.
Do I still have my biting bag?
you do.
Okay.
By the way, did we long rest?
Yes.
Okay.
Everyone actually gets to click long rest properly this time. Meteor.
Yes.
The potted plant seems to have a seed missing.
A seed missing.
Mhm.
Okay. I give it some blood.
Okay. So take a point of damage, and you drop it on the plant, and the seed grows back.
Okay.
Okay.
So in theory, we could probably go 4 days without feeding it if we absolutely had to. Based on that.
I don't think that's the greatest idea, but
I don't
yes.
think it's a great idea, but it's good to know.
Dun dun dun. And I suppose that would be a good time to stop.
Hold
Unless
on.
people would like to continue a little longer.
I think that's a good stopping point.
I-
Good
good.
stopping episode.
How early is it in the day?
You woke up in the morning, so around 6 o'clock.
Okay,
Dawn?
I'll wait
Little
till
after
a
dawn?
little later then.
Yeah, it's dawn.
Just question: can Phelan and Colfax have attuned to their items as well?
I'm assuming so.
Yes.
Okay.
So you'll have to
Was
mark yours there, Nihon, on Colfax.
Yep.
was the
will do.
shield something I needed to attune to or no?
It is not.
Okay.
Oh, it's already. I already have it
Well,
marked as
6
attuned.
months.
Yay!
Okay.
Yeah, and I will fix that shield as well.
Yep. Just tell me what I need to do when the time comes.
Will do.
Yep.
So everyone good?
Yep. I think we are good to wrap up stream for the
Alrighty.
night.
Well then,
All right.
everybody, thanks for stopping by for this. I keep wanting to say 19th. This is 18th.
No,
right?
it is 19.
No,
It is 19. You're
Okay, so
correct.
good. Jeesh, sleepy dragon brain. So, thanks everybody for coming to this 19th session of In the Demon's Grasp, where our party seems to have met a rather interesting dwarven man. So, thanks for coming, and hope to see some people next time we play.
Yes, indeed. Thanks for
So
being here, everyone.
have a good day, night / evening, and who knows? Maybe one day you'll get to visit Targum's shop. Bye bye, everybody.